Yeah.
A quick look at those two cameras and then we'll get them out of the way and start. Thanks, Jen.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming along. I, for one, am delighted to welcome this gentleman on my left-hand side, and I'm sure you'll join me in welcoming him to Sunderland Football Club. Our aim, obviously, in recent weeks has been to appoint the right person for the job. Our aim was to appoint someone a little bit sooner, but as you know from recent coverage, we were involved in some takeover talks that ultimately Ellis, our owner, put a deadline on those talks, and at that point decided that we would not carry on with those discussions. Mainly in the interest of Sunderland Football Club. Ellis at all times has said that he would listen to anybody that could take the club forward on and off the pitch, and it was felt that actually the time was to stop those talks and look forward to our pre-season and the rest of the season. Where that has obviously led to is the appointment of Simon. Simon is a gentleman and a candidate that we at the very outset considered for the job. He was one of only a couple of people that we spoke to, and I believe that he has all the qualities to take this football club forward. What we saw in Simon and do sitting here today is someone who is coming to Sunderland Football Club to give something to Sunderland Football Club, not what Sunderland Football Club can give to Simon Grayson. And for me, that's about his ambition, his desire, and his steeliness to succeed. And with that, he brings an abundance of experience of the Championship. So I, for one, am quite delighted that he's sitting alongside me today, looking forward to working with him going forward, and I'm sure that we'll achieve success together. So Simon, welcome, and I'll hand it over to you.
Simon, many congratulations. This appears to have come about quite quickly. When were you first made aware of Sunderland's interest?
Look, there's obviously been a bit of speculation over the last few weeks, but obviously I reported for training on Thursday morning to take training at Preston North End, and by 11 o'clock I was summoned back to the ground to say that Sunderland had permission to come to this football club. So once I was aware of that, jumped in my car, got changed and was up here very quickly for negotiations and talks, and was obviously concluded very quickly. So I'm delighted to be here, looking forward to the future, and hopefully we can progress as a football club.
You've had great success at Preston in recent times. How difficult a decision was it for you to leave, and equally how easy a decision was it for you to take this job?
A bit of both, really. Leaving a football club that have been very good to me, 4.5 years, and made me the second longest Championship manager. Gathered a group of players that have gone from the bottom reaches of League One to the periphery of the playoffs on a low budget. I've got a unity with them players, with the supporters and the owner and the other people at Preston. But when a club like Sunderland come knocking, it's too good opportunity. It's a fantastic football club with history, tradition. So this football club is obviously in the Championship now, and I want to make it proud again. I want the supporters to be proud of the football team that are going to go out there and obviously trying to achieve success. Every club that I've been involved with so far as a manager in the last 10 years, I've left them in a better state than when I walked in, and if I manage to do that when I leave here, I would think they'll be in the Premiership.
How do you go about achieving stability on the pitch here, which is something which has been lacking in recent years?
Well, I think when you look at the group of players, it's obviously quite short on numbers. We'll bring a group of players in now that are going to be coming in to improve the squad. Different types of characters, players that will know the Championship. Might not be household names that people are expecting, but you don't need household names to get yourself promoted out of this division. I think you look over the last few seasons, Burnley have done it with real hungry young players, experienced players who have got a desire to succeed. And any player that will be coming to this football club under my regime will be coming to give everything for this football club, and not just for the glamour of playing for this football club or the money or the trappings that come with it. It's going to be hard work on the training pitch, and get a team spirit and a group of players that are willing to do anything for this football club, and give a working class city something to be cheerful about on a Saturday night or on a Monday morning when they're going back into work.
What assurances have you been given by Martin and the board about the budget that you will have? Because obviously you'll need to bring in players, probably strikers in the immediate term as well?
It does look an area that does need sort of addressing. No, I've had conversations with Mr. Shaw and obviously Martin. We've got a realistic budget. It isn't going to be the top budget in the division, but it's not going to be the bottom one. So whatever club I've been at, whether it's Leeds United or a big football club, Preston, Blackpool, Huddersfield, whatever budget I'm being given, I've always tried to make the best of that. I'm a Yorkshireman, so I don't spend money unwisely, and that will be the case why I'm at this football club, to get players in who want to play for the club. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players that have been at this club that have probably come for the wrong reasons, but the ones that are going to be coming will be coming to play football and improve this football club. And this is still a massive football club, a big attraction for any manager, coach, player who wants to come, who knows anything about football, will want to come to this football club in the future.
You've a track record of getting teams promoted. Has that been made your prime remit for this season?
Well, it's got to be the ambition of the football club, and any time Sunderland are in a division, they need to be in the next one above. And over the last few years, when they've got relegated, they've tried to bounce back as quickly as possible, and that'll be no different this year. But it's a relentless division. You're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. You've got teams that are going to be spending large amounts of money. But if you've got that togetherness and spirit, it gives you a great opportunity. So we were focused on trying to do that, as so many other clubs in the Championship. Everybody wants a piece of the golden ticket, don't they? But unfortunately or fortunately, there's only going to be two teams get automatic promotion, one through the playoffs. But that's what we'll be trying to achieve. Have
you got targets in mind already in terms of bringing players in, even though you're only just in the door?
Seriously, once it got announced on Sky that was in talks, my phone, even driving up the A1, was going from players that have had under different clubs want to come and play for me again. Other players that I didn't know that they appreciated what I was doing, or what I've done as a manager. Agents are coming out the woodwork. This is a big attraction as a football club, but it'll be the right recruitment. In the past, I like to think one of my key strengths has been the recruitment side of the clubs that I've worked at, and that'll be the same here. Now I've got players in mind, and we're going to be hopefully trying to move very quickly on decisions to enhance the squad and improve it.
Martin, can I ask you, you've identified recruitment in recent times as a major problem here. How soon can Sunderland fans see new arrivals for Simon?
I think fairly soon, but obviously, it's been a busy 24 hours. Both Simon and I will sit down this evening, I think that's the plan anyway, and have some in-depth discussions about what we want to do, and then if we can move things forward pretty quickly, then we shall.
In terms of the announcement that the owner made yesterday with regards to the sale not going through, how did that then influence what happened with Simon, or were the wheels already in motion with regards to Simon?
No, I think it's very much about the fact that you especially myself on a day-to-day basis, if you want to sit in front of someone and work with them very closely, then there's no point in having a discussion when there's an uncertainty whatever the future might be. So it was really important that those talks were brought to closure within a certain time frame, and only then could you sit in front of somebody and actually with clarity start to look at the plan going forward, and that's been the case with Simon.
So with regards to the ownership going forward, has that been parked for at least the medium term now?
Well, I wouldn't say it's been parked. I would say actually the club is not for sale now. At this moment in time, Ellis has very much said, I will listen to the party, the talks gathered momentum, but I will set a deadline. And if they can take the club forward on and off the pitch, then he has a responsibility to this club. He has a love of this football club, and he decided that it wasn't in the best interest of the club to carry on those discussions any further. What I would say is that he has owned the club for nearly 9 years now. He has funded the club hugely. He's still very much committed to the football club. He still funds the football club. And there are many clubs that actually would be envious of having an owner like Ellis Short. So it's important to bear that in mind when there's a lot of speculation and a lot of commentary with regards to the ownership of this football club.
Just final one from me. I understand the Fabio Marini deal has been agreed. Is it completely over the line as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, it's just completely over the line, just coming round to the stadium this afternoon, so yeah, it's done now.
And presumably the striking position is the top priority in terms of the additions that you're going to want to make going forward.
Well, that's Simon's objective as to what he wants to make his top priority, but yeah, I would imagine so.
Defenders, wide players as well.
Just a couple more from me. Simon, we've talked about recruitment, so you obviously inherit players as well. How difficult is it when you come into a club where things clearly haven't gone well off the back of a relegation? to get those players in the right frame of mind to work on their confidence and build them up as well?
Well, it's a key part. I think one of the key strengths I like to think of myself is that I'm a good man manager. I like to know about the players that I'm working with, the staff that I'm working with, and try and get the best out of them individuals. And I've had a meeting with my staff this morning and the players as well separately, and it's all about trying to create a happy working environment. And ultimately, if you manage to do that, players will come into work with a smile on the face, and hopefully then you're getting a better performance from the player on the training pitch and then onto the pitch as well. So it's trying to, there's been a lot of negativity around the place obviously the last year or so, but that's all in the past. It's about what we do in the future now. So we try to get the players a smile on the face this morning and try and have a laugh at a joke with them. They could be serious with the work that we're doing, but ultimately it's getting the best out of every individual. And there'll be some players that will be coming in, obviously, but there'll be some that maybe still leave because they don't want to be part of what we're going to do going forward. Time will tell on that. But ultimately it's about, I want to concentrate on the players that we're bringing in and the ones who want to be part of it, because believe me, and you should know because you're local journalists around here, that if this club gets going like it can do, it can snowball incredibly quickly, as Sam proves the year that they managed to stay up, and this place can be rocking again in the future and give the city something to be proud of.
What were you presented with when you came in then and met the players this morning? What sort of mood was there?
I think any player, when a new manager comes in, they're a little bit apprehensive because they don't know what to expect and never worked with me before, most of them players. But I told them they've all got a clean slate right the way through the 23s. I've said the under 23s are not there to make up the numbers. They're there to join in training with an ambition of being in the team on the first game of the season, and that's the big incentive for any player, whether you're an international and got 400 caps under your belt or 500 appearances, or you've played 10 times with under 23s. You do well pre-season, I will consider you, and that's been the remit to all the players. And in between, sort of finding the breath again, there was the odd smile again, because as you can imagine, pre-season this morning was quite a difficult session.
I'll just ask one more, Simon. We've talked about the takeover, which isn't going to happen now. Before you said yes, did you seek assurances about who would be running the club and their commitment to it?
I think Martin's explained the situation, that Preston got approached once the negotiations had finished, and that there wasn't going to be a takeover, and Mr. Short made it clear that he wanted to be part of this football club. So the conversations again that I had with him and Martin was the reason why I'm at this football club, because I've been manager at Preston for 4.5 years. I'm in a secure job as much as you can be as a manager, and I enjoyed working there. But this was something that really sort of ticked a lot of boxes for me, because it's a proper football club with proper people in around it, and that's the reason why I'm here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, gents, if we can just switch cameras now, that would be great, thanks.
Sam, can I
Start
ask,
with everything.
how big a challenge is this compared to the challenges you've taken previously in your career?
Well, I think any time you come to a football club, there's going to be different types of challenges. I look at 4.5 years ago when I was at Preston, the team were in the bottom 6 of League One with the potential of going down to League Two, and I put my reputation on the line and I backed myself that I would be able to succeed. And 18 months later, they're getting promoted at Wembley and being successful in the Championship. There's a challenge here, of course there is, but it's an incredible challenge that I'm relishing and really looking forward to, because, as I mentioned earlier, you get this place going, it can be an incredible place to play and manage, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing.
There's some big name managers have been here and have struggled to make it work here. What do you think you bring that can make it work here?
Well, I'd like to be honest with the players, with the supporters. I'll tell it as it is. I'm a pretty straightforward Yorkshireman. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and ultimately I'll give whatever's required to do to be a success. And I'm not going to sort of give false hopes to anybody. If I think we might be struggling or we've played very well, I'll tell it as it is after games, before games, etc. So it's all about being honest with people, because if you're not honest with people, they can see through you very quickly. So it's all about sort of taking the club forward, being positive. That's a big thing. Get positivity right back around the training ground. And I don't mean just with the players, I mean with the office staff and the cleaners, and then back to the ground. And as I keep mentioning, it can then gather pace very quickly.
Given the turnover of players and how much the squad will have to change this summer, is an immediate promotion a realistic aim?
Well, I think it's a realistic aim for any team in the division because, and it's got to be. Why do you want to set off the start of the season without any ambition of trying to be in the next division? So we've got some good footballers at this football club already. We'd like to think we're going to bring in some other ones, and we'll be very competitive. And hopefully we're talking at the end of the season that we've managed to achieve what everybody wants to achieve.
You've been linked with players already. Aidan McGeady is one of the names that's come up. Jordan Hugill, is there any interest there?
Well, there you go. The two players that I've worked with before, and people have been linked with it. It's not going to be a problem attracting players to this football club, but it's got to be the right type. As I mentioned, they've got to have the heart and soul. They've got to have desire. They've got to have a will to win, never say die attitude, and a team spirit that I've tried to create every football club that I've been at, and that'll be a big part. So, them two maybe being linked. Time will tell if they land on our doorstep or one or two other people do.
Martin, can I just ask you, as a club, you've been very frank about the financial situation. Does that remain the same as we speak?
I think as Simon mentioned earlier, we maybe not have the biggest transfer budget in the Championship, and we certainly won't have the smallest. We made a big sale recently in Jordan Pickford. You may ask, does all that all go to the transfer kitty? Well, no. You take a drop in revenue of roughly about 58% in TV money from the Premier League to Championship. We've obviously got legacy payments with some transfers from the past, so it all goes into the mix. But it's not what I would describe as people have done as a perilous situation that Sunderland Football Club is in. Sunderland Football Club has an owner that supports the football club. We have TV money, but we're going to have to juggle. It's going to be at times difficult. But as Simon said, if you have players who he believes we can attract to the football club that are willing to come here and play, then we'll make do with what we have and kick on.
I'm going to just ask for you personally, how challenging the last few months has this been?
Murder. It's been.
I've only been here a day. Look at me already.
It's been a fairly stressful period. Yeah, it has been. So.